Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Texas Shindig. 2:20 out here tonight. They say everything is bigger in Texas, such as the pressure to win and advance through the Scrambler Series. Tonight, race number 21 of 23 of the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series, and we enter with 6 championship-eligible drivers. 4 will leave at the end of tonight. A double elimination race in front of us out here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway as we get set to go racing from Fort Worth. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday night. Thanks for hanging out with us once again on a Tuesday as we continue our hunt to find out who the champion's going to be here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Championship Truck Series. A couple of minutes remaining out in practice. Drivers got about just under 3 minutes remaining out in practice. At the top of the board right now, you got Matt Semple, one of our championship eligible drivers. Frank DiMaggio currently in second. Cody Gibson in third. Around at the top 5, you got Mike Stuyvesant and now Gary Bowman. As they run right now, I am Tom Richter, usually up in the booth. I am joined by Arie Heinzman. Arie's got the night off, and we will be hanging out together for the next, well, we'll call it 90 minutes or so. Thanks for spending a Tuesday night with us. I tell you what, Arie's not here, so I don't think there's any rules out here tonight. Why don't we, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to jump around. We're going to jump around here. Let's see if we can't find a pair of Shermans here real quick. Got Corey and Amanda. Corey, Amanda, Tom, how you doing?
How are you, Tom?
I'm good. I'm in the middle of a grid walk, so rapid fire. How you guys feeling about tonight's race?
I'm gonna start in the back, see what happens.
Same here. Yep, not very fast tonight.
You gotta protect that championship.
Yeah. Corey's going for the Boopers Championship. Amanda, I heard a lot of concerns about tire wear starting to fall off. Cars starting to get a little bit loose towards the end of the run. You see the same thing?
Definitely seeing it. It might actually work out to my advantage to move up a few spots since I tend to be a little slower and a little more cautious. I might be able to save them a little better.
All right. Well, best of luck to you guys. I'm going to go bother the bearded boys and see what they're up to.
Thank you.
All right. We're here with the bearded boys. I got a whole group of drivers. How's everybody doing in here tonight?
Well, hello.
We're fine. How are you?
We're on a grid walk. We're trying to catch up with as many drivers pre-race as we possibly can. Dave, how you feeling about tonight's race?
I'm not overly optimistic, but thanks for asking.
love the transparency. Steve, I heard some issues about fuel earlier tonight. Possibly some fuel issues in stage 1. How are you feeling about fuel in stage 1?
I try not to even think about it. Just get the pedal down and go. See what happens.
Well,
Steve always says gas.
All right. Good luck to you guys in here. Let's see who else we can bother in here. We got Frank DiMaggio, Jarrett, Gary, Ed. How you guys doing tonight before we get started, Texas?
What's up, Tom?
Doing all right, Tom?
How you guys, Gary? You come in here tonight. What do you think you need to do to advance? Obviously, finishing in front of 2. That's the easy answer. But how you going to do that?
I'm just trying to take care of my stuff, but still go fast enough to be ahead of somebody. That's what I'm shooting for.
He asked me to wreck 2 guys. So.
Yeah.
Well, Frank,
yeah, I think pitting's going to be tricky if we got green flag stops. Going to have to watch out for people catching a penalty.
All right. Well, it looks like we're going to qualifying here. Best of luck to you guys out here tonight. Maybe talk to one of you at the end.
Thanks, Tom. Good luck.
All right, later, Tom.
All right, our grid walk premieres on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. So, waiting on a couple of cars to light up here as practice starts to wind down around here. We got Matt Semple, one of our championship eligible drivers. He's one of the first drivers to light up here on the exit of pit road in that 16 Chevy Silverado. See where he is able to put that machine after 2 laps of qualifying. Semple's going to come down here into turn number 3. This time by, he's going to see the green flag for his qualifying effort for the first time out here tonight. 6 drivers coming here as Scrambler Series drivers. Matt Semple, Cody Gibson, Mike Stuyvesant, Greg Mitchell, and Andrew Caldwell, and Gary Bowman, the driver that we just spoke to a moment ago on the grid walk. These drivers, they're fast out here tonight. At one point, they were the top 6 in practice. We'll see if that's how the race unfolds out here tonight. Other drivers out on track right now: Gary Bowman, Mike Stiverson, Dustin Ping, Leroy Koblenz, Chris Letts, Andrew Caldwell. A whole bunch of names putting down laps right now. We're still following along with the Alto Construction Chevy Silverado. First time for Matt Semple. He's going to be the first one to post the time, so he's going to be provisionally at the top of the board, but he is replaced quickly by Brad Holmes. Ed Jurgen's going to jump up there to the top spot as other drivers and other times start to come in. Leroy Koblenz slots into a 4th position here, followed by Logan Spencer as these drivers come along. Andrew Caldwell, one of our championship eligible drivers, currently at the top of the board for that 46. That 46 has been strong all season long. Hasn't gotten a win on the season just yet, but he has been fast as they come. Maybe just behind Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell throughout the first 21 races of the season. Matt Semple has retaken the top spot of qualifying here 2 minutes in. Gary Bowman's going to go up to the top of the board here. He completes his 2nd lap. Looking for other drivers. Dustin Ping in the 81 down into turn number 3. We'll see what Dustin's able to do. Eric Anderson, that Jones boy, at the top of the speed charts right now at the 30.308, about 3/100ths faster than 2nd place Gary Bowman. Dustin Ping's going to complete his 2nd lap, good enough for 8th on the board for driver number 81. Who else has not completed both laps out here? Greg Mitchell has not completed both laps. First time by was good enough for 22nd for Mr. Mitchell, so looking for a pickup here. Second time by going to be fast enough for 9th for Greg Mitchell. It's probably not the exact qualifying effort that he was hoping for. He's going to have some work to do out here tonight. Cody Gibson, driver that we're following along right now, arguably the hottest driver in Cyber Thunder Racing League right now. Picked up a couple of wins recently, and second time for Mr. Gibson, going to move up to 3rd in row number 2. Looking to see if any other drivers have not yet. Rick Thompson is currently out on a hot lap, first time by. Rick was good enough for a top 10 starting position. Looks like only one other driver out on a track right now, Lee Campbell in that number 60. So we'll follow Rick here along for the next couple of seconds, and then we'll click on over to Lee Campbell in that 60. Rick has also been really fast. Hasn't been here every single week through the Cyber Thunder Racing League season, but when he has made his name known. He's going to jump up to 5th here, as looks like we have just one other driver here out on a track right now, and that is the 60 Ford F-150 of Lee Campbell, driver previously eliminated from the Scrambler Series, looking for his opportunity at redemption next week at Michigan International Speedway, as we have just 2 races remaining to go in our season. 2nd lap for Mr. Campbell, going to be good enough for, 17th for Lee. Frank DiMaggio is sitting down on an active pit road right now, has not rolled that 24 machine out, so looks like he is going to elect not to take a qualifying effort out here tonight for that 24. Lee is coming slowly to a crawl down here on the backstretch, and looks like that's going to be our starting lineup out here tonight. Has got just about 20 seconds remaining out in opening practice. Who you guys rooting for? Who you guys hoping to see advance through the Scrambler Series? We'll take a quick look at the starting positions for the Scrambler Series drivers. Gary Bowman starts 2nd out here tonight. Cody Gibson 3rd. Matt Semple starts 4th. Andrew Caldwell for the Scrambler Series drivers inside the top 10, followed by Greg Mitchell in 11th and Mike Stiverson in 20th. Not the qualifying position that Mike Stiverson wanted to get out here tonight, but looks like the field is set. Going to line up behind the iRacing.com pace car. And I tell you what, we're going to check a couple of things here real quick, make sure we're good to go for the start of tonight's race, and we will be back with your starting lineup. All right, looks like we got everything ready to go and set up correctly, and our starting lineup is set. Eric Anderson going to be rolling off from the pole position out here tonight. Driver out of Graybeard Race, and we'll see what he's able to do. Winner at the opening race of the season, looking to get his second win of the season. Gary Bowman out of Lounge Racing, starting second on the front row. Cody Gibson starts third with Matt Semple to his outside on row number 2. The top 5 is rounded out by Rick Thompson. Brad Holmes is going to be starting on the outside of row number 3. Andrew Caldwell starts 7th out here tonight. Paxton Frith rolls on the outside of row number 4. Leroy Koblenz and Dustin Ping round out the top 10. Greg Mitchell starts 11th out here tonight. He's got some work to do if he wants to advance through the Scrambler Series, but he's got other drivers chasing him down. Ed Jurgen in that Jurgen's Lawn Care Machine starts 12th out here tonight. Brad Collins starts 13th with Logan Spencer in 14th. Steven Music in 15th. Brian Dorsey starts 16th out here tonight. Lee Campbell posts a fast enough time for 17th out here tonight. Andy Cork, David Gainforth, and Mike Stiverson round out the top 20. Rounding out our field of 31 drivers out here tonight, we have Jarrett Keemley in 21st. Jason Raymond starts 22nd out here tonight. Chris Letts rolls off 23rd with Chris Rose in 24th. Nathan Dufton in the 47 going to roll off 25th out here tonight. Five Kings Motorsports driver Larry Bell starts 26th out here tonight. And then we get into the drivers that did not take a qualifying time out here tonight, and that is going to be Frank DiMaggio on down. Frank DiMaggio starting 27th. Tanner Marr in 28th. Corey Sherman, Mr. Fred Thompson out of Speed Mafia, and the driver of the War Wagon, Amanda Sherman out of TNA Motorsports. That rounds out our field of 31 drivers as we get set to go racing out here tonight from Fort Worth, Texas. And the stakes are high as 6 drivers enter to tonight's race. As Scrambler Series drivers, only 4 will exit the bottom 2 finishing drivers. Highlighted in green on the left side of the tower will be eliminated from championship contention at the end of tonight. We got 147 laps tonight to find out who is going to move on and who is going to have their championship hopes squashed. Green flag is out for the first time tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Eric Anderson leads us to the green flag. Lap 1 done and away from Texas Motor Speedway. Cody Gibson is going to move up to the top of the board in that opening lap. Eric Anderson's going to hold on to second place, as he's currently under fire from Matt Semple. Battle for second place, a little bit of moving around back there with looks to be Paxton Frith and possibly Dustin Ping, but everybody's going to keep these trucks moving forward. Matt Semple trying to close in on the back of the 43 out here to advance his position and take second place. A little bit of a battle starting to heat up back here. Got Gary Bowman and who is that? Brad Holmes directly to the inside of him. Got Andrew Caldwell in that mix as well. Rick Thompson up here. We said Rick is fast, and he certainly has shown speed every time that 76 has been out on track. I think Rick's biggest issue probably has been just getting caught up in other people's issues throughout the season, but any of the past 3 or 4 races, that driver of the Ford F-150 of the 76 could have picked up a win himself. Has not been able to do it just yet. Could tonight be the night? Could he be the first winner outside the Scrambler Series to pick up a win and spoil the party for these drivers? We're going to slot back just a little bit as Ed Jurgen is currently battling with, is that Paxton directly in front of him? Yes, it is, on the entry into turn number 3. Up front, it's all Cody Gibson, Eric Anderson, Matt Semple, the top 3, as we come around to complete lap number 4 to work lap number 5. Dustin Ping trying to chase down that 55 machine of Greg Mitchell. That 55 moving forward here early in the event out here tonight. as he is already up 3 spots. One of our bigger movers out here tonight, another one of our bigger movers towards the back of the field, Chris Rose in that 07, already up 8 spots. You got Corey Sherman up 4 spots as well. Amanda Sherman up 4 spots as well. Maybe issues here real quick. Let's take a look. Maybe issues for Jason Raymond. I don't even know if Jason hit the grid out here. Jason may not have gridded, but he's already showing out, as well as Tanner Marr, as well as Lee Campbell. What is going on? There is several drivers with issues here on the opening laps out here, so storylines to follow early in tonight's race. A couple of laps into tonight's race, we're going to take a quick look at the Scrambler Series as they run. The bottom 2 drivers as they run right now, Greg Mitchell and Mike Stuyvesant, would be slotted for elimination if we were to end everything right now. But long way to go out here tonight. About 215 miles of racing before we determine that answer. Cody Gibson has opened up just a little bit of an advantage over second place Eric Anderson. Eric Anderson still under fire from Matt Semple on the exit of turn number 4 at the start-finish line. You can see everybody kind of coming across here pretty even. Matt's taking a little bit lower of a line down here on the entry into turn number 1. He's trying to make the corner a little bit shorter. Turn 1 here at Texas, I've never been able to figure out. It gets very awkward very quickly. It's got a little bit more of a radius than the old Texas. This is drivers got to overcome that issue. Brad Holmes in the 55 running directly in front of the 50. Brad Holmes in the 00 running directly in front of the 55 as Greg is up to 7th place with Brad in 6th. We got huge battles back here. Just 9 laps into tonight's event. Leroy Koblenz started 9th out here tonight. 1 spot up for the driver of the 42. Looking pretty good. We got a 3 wide situation here on the exit of turn number 4. Gary Bowman's going to get out of it. He's going to sacrifice a spot here for a long-term gain for Gary Bowman, but close calls on the exit of turn number 4. As Matt Semple looks to make the pass here on Eric Anderson, and he may just be able to do it this time by. Still working on the inside is Matt Semple, trying to make the pass on Eric down here, but before too long this 2-car race is going to become a 4-car race because they've got Brad Holmes directly behind them and Andrew Caldwell quickly closing in the wake of these drivers directly in front of them. And don't count out Gary Bowman, Greg Mitchell, Leroy back there, Dustin Ping, and these drivers of the sorts. Heard that fuel is somewhere around, well, I heard anywhere between 34 to 36 laps. So drivers, maybe a little bit of fuel concern here in stage number 1. Stage 1 going to be 34 laps, but they do have to complete an additional lap to catch the pace car and wait for pit road to open. So we'll see if we see any fuel strategy out here in the opening lap. Stage 2 going to be a little bit shorter. It's only going to be about 30 laps of green flag racing. So I think all the concerns are going to be mainly in stage number 1. And then from there, we're going to run to the checkered at lap number 147. At the start-finish line, Matt Semple still on the inside, not able yet to make the pass on the 43. Looks like he's actually going to be able to take that spot in this corner here after a couple of laps of trying. Matt Semple going to slide up in front of the 43 on the backstretch here. Brad Holmes looking for a spot here to slide back up in front of the 46 of Andrew Caldwell. Andrew's going to give him a little bit of breathing room here on the entry into turn number 3 as these drivers. It's hard to make a pass here at Texas. It's hard to make a pass here with kind of almost at any track here in the trucks, but maybe some tire conservation on that 43, maybe some handling issues, unsure of which. Eric is way high up in turns 1 and 2, a little bit higher than I would be comfortable running with, so we'll see how he's able to manage that, and if he comes back on the long run here. Got about 20 laps to go already just in stage number 1. Gary Bowman continuing to march his way, trying to march his way forward. On the outside, he's got Greg Mitchell. Dustin Ping trying to come along here and fill one of the spots, or potentially put us in a 3-wide situation, as Gary's going to have a little bit of an advantage on the entry into turn number 1, but the momentum carried by the 55 going to be enough to protect that position for one more set of corners. Back in 6th, 7th, and 8th place right here on board with the Ping Precision Auto Chevy Silverado of Dustin Ping. See a couple of drivers starting to smack the wall on the exit. A little bit of sparks showing there, but everybody clean and green through the opening 16 laps of tonight's race. Andrew Caldwell on the inside, going to now take a look for position for Greg Mitchell here in a moment. See if he's able to advance his running order, as it doesn't look like just yet. Eric Anderson starting to continue his slide back. Oh, big issues there for Andrew Caldwell. He's going to get maybe a little bit of a tap from Gary Bowman on the entry into the dog leg there, but he's going to be able to hang on to that Toyota Tundra. Does a nice job there avoiding any additional issues for there. Gary maybe just gets up out of the gas there just a little bit and continues on their way. Rick Thompson in the same conversation back here, started 5th out here tonight, currently runs in 10th. Maybe some fuel saving here. Let's go on board here with Rick and see if we hear any sort of clutching or any sort of excessive off throttle on the entry into turn number 1. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of fuel saving from Rick, so maybe just got in the wrong line early in the run. Lost a couple of spots, but he is still very much in contention for this race out here. Up front, we're going to switch back over. Take another look. Cody Gibson continues to lead tonight's race. Took the lead on lap number 1 and has set sail by about a quarter of a second. Second place now, Matt Semple. Brad Holmes has made his way up into 3rd. Eric Anderson now under fire from the 55 of Greg Mitchell for a 4th place running position, as they're going to come across, and we're going to see 14 laps to go in the stage. It's kind of interesting to see Eric running the outside lane here. He's really kind of the only driver that I can see that's kind of running that offline entry into turn number 1 and turn number 3. Let's see if we can't get a better look here, maybe see if we can find anybody else doing the same thing. But first issue out, yellow flag, as that looks like maybe issues for Andrew Caldwell, Mike Stiverson sliding down the charts. Issues early for Scrambler Series drivers. Let's take a look at what happens to the 46 and possibly the 20 as well. All right, so oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. We're gonna take a few looks at this because I've got questions. Oh my gosh, what a hit. That is night ending for Andrew Caldwell, without a doubt. But what exactly happened? Is that a wheel disconnect or what happened there? It looks like he's still moving his wheel after the contact with the wall right there. Let's go on board. Let's try to go on board here with Andrew and maybe get a better idea. We'll back it up just a couple of seconds here. So going down into turn number 3 here. On board with Andrew Caldwell right here, the majority, or on board with I think this is Rick Thompson, a little bit way back here, but Andrew Caldwell having issues. Let's find Andrew here. All right, this is Andrew. Huge hit for the 46, night-ending hit for the 46. Really unsure what caused that to happen. Mike Stuyvesant also went off the track, so I want to take a quick look at the at a replay here for the 20. Maybe just wreck avoidance here, maybe just driving through the grass. That appears to be what it is. So no issues for Mike Stuyvesant, but while we were taking a look at the replays, the field has been on and off. A couple of drivers have been on and off pit road. Looks like Ed Jurgen on back in 16th place. Ed Jurgen, Brad Collins, Dave Gainforth, and Down have been on pit road. Some of them still remain on pit road. Dustin Ping on pit road. Andy Cork just now exiting. So tough break here early in stage number 1 for Andrew Caldwell. That is going to be championship hopes over for Andrew Caldwell, as his very damaged Toyota Tundra sits down here on pit road. Not the night that Andrew was hoping to see. So now we know one of the two drivers that are going to be out. We just have one additional driver to be eliminated after 147 laps out here tonight. So if you're one of the championship drivers, if you're Cody Gibson, if you're Matt Semple, Greg Mitchell, Gary Bowman, or Mike Stuyvesant, you still have work to do out here tonight, as only 4 drivers will exit Texas Motor Speedway and go into Michigan next week here on the broadcast network. But waiting on, looks like the lights are off this time, and we expect to go green flag racing here. Pace car is going to be down and away, and we're going to see the green flag for the second time out here tonight for the first restart of tonight's Texas Shindig 220. Cody Gibson is the control car, and he's going to bring us to the green flag. Once again, he's got Brad Holmes in tow, and Matt Semple going to lose a spot here on this restart as driver starts to fan out too wide on the entry into turn number 1. Gary Bowman on the inside of the 55. Rick Thompson trying to make some moves early here in this run on the inside in a 3-wide situation. Bowman to the middle, Mitchell to the outside, and Rick Thompson down into the middle looking, trying to get 2 for 1 as they go into turn number 3. Chris Rose, driver started 23rd out here tonight, on the move in a hurry in that purple and dark purple 07 Chevy Silverado out here for Chris Rose as he continues his march forward. Got Logan Spencer directly behind him, up 5 spots from their qualifying efforts out here tonight. Mike Stuyvesant now secures himself a top 5 running position, or top 10 running position, excuse me, as we see in just a few moments the end of stage number 1. Got 10 laps to go in stage 1. Greg Mitchell still under fire from Rick Thompson. Rick's not been able to make that pass just yet in that 76, trying to make his way around and set himself up for a good starting position in stage number 2. As we've seen before, that outside lane is carrying the momentum and protects the position for another set of corners here for Mitchell, as he's able to drive away by about a car and a half or maybe more on the exit of the corner. And now a little bit of separation between Greg Mitchell and Rick Thompson up there. Taking a look at closer battles back here a little bit. Issues for, where's Brian Dorsey going? Looks like Brian Dorsey got super loose on the entry into turn number 1 there. He's going to lose multiple spots and lose. Brad Collins going to get to his outside. We may have a 4-wide situation right here. Paxton Frith thinks better of it. We're going to stick to a 3-wide, back to a 2-wide situation there for Brian Dorsey. Logan Spencer, Nathan Dufton having a good race up here so far. Nathan, another one of the drivers who has come on strong late in the season. He's had multiple top 10s over the past couple of races. So Nathan, another driver that is having a good ending part of his season, as he's going to slide that Silverado across the back of the 19 and lose a couple of spots. They're getting word from Oh boy. Getting word from Andrew Caldwell in the 46 that he had a hardware failure. The old Momo, the old trusty Momo, came disconnected. That is a horrible way to end your night, Andrew. So sorry to hear about that. We continue on looking at these battles up here. Matt Semple still trying to work over Gary Bowman here. Gary directly behind Matt as they come through turns 3 and 4. Greg Mitchell also on the move, but all up front with 5 laps to go in stage number 1. It has been Cody Gibson since the drop of the green flag. Eric Anderson started on pole, quickly lost a couple of spots. Eric Anderson back down into 21st place, biggest goer of the night for those drivers. Jarek Heimele having a good run up here. He's going to make his way to the inside of the 76, try to advance his position here, take a top 6 running position. Issues for Chris Rose directly behind him, hard into the wall on the exit of turn number 2. Heavy damage, gotta imagine that's going to be wheel damage for that 07. No other cars involved, at least just yet. That 07 has an issue on the exit of turn number 4. And that is, let's take a look here. We'll see if this is the right one here. Where is Chris? Big issues for Chris Rose. You can just see him just riding the wall, just no control of that truck. He's going to stay out on an active track right now. He's got a caution coming here in just about 2.5 laps, so that's going for him. But that truck is going to be heavily damaged, and even with getting that truck repaired, I do believe that will be the end of his competitive night, though he will likely still be on track on board with Cody Gibson for the race lead. Battle for the stage win here. Got about a 2 truck length lead, about a 2/10 of a difference here between himself and Brad Holmes in second place. Trying to pick up some very valuable stage points early in tonight's race for Cody Gibson. We're going to come back to this battle in just a moment. The battle for about the 8th place position. Rick Thompson, Gary Bowman. Who is that? Is that the 33 of Jarek Heimele still down there? All trying to get a top 10 position by the time we come around here in 2 laps to see the end of stage number 1. Steven Music has a good night out here tonight, is currently running in 7th. As we see the white flag in stage number 1. Just a 1.5 miles of racing to go for Cody Gibson up front. One more set of corners before we determine the first batch of stage points that are handed out here tonight. And it looks like Rick Thompson currently in the 10th place running position. Looks like he will be the last driver to receive a stage point out here as we see the stage caution come out for the first time. 1 incident caution, 1 stage flag through the opening 34 laps of tonight's event. Cody Gibson, the stage winner. Brad Holmes in second. Matt Semple in 3rd place. All right, so interesting to note here, drivers that came down on that lap number 21 caution out here about 10-15 laps ago. Jarek Heimele, Steven Music, Andy Cork. Those are the 3 drivers that came down. They've made their way up the farthest in 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it'll be interesting to see here what the 33, the 09, the 41 do. Other drivers, Paxton Frith rounds out stage number 1 inside the top 10. Gotta imagine that these drivers will still come down here for service, but maybe this puts them in a 2-tire strategy. Pit stop here, not entirely sure, but drivers do have 5 tire changes out here tonight to use, so they've got really an extra 1 or 2 tire sets. But we're about to find out as we expect to see the entire field on pit road here with the exception of maybe some of the drivers that stayed out. Andy Cork's going to stay out on track and take the race lead as they run under yellow flag here. Andy Cork still so far the only driver to stay out on an active racing surface as we wait to find other drivers as they're going to come down pit road. Brad Holmes going to hit the loud pedal. Cody Gibson's going to hit the loud pedal. Cody Gibson's going to win the race off of pit road, followed by Brad Holmes, Matt Semple, Jarrett Keemley, Greg Mitchell, Steven Music, and others. Stage 1 done and away. We're going to step away for just a moment here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, and we'll be back for the restart. Stage 1 done and away. Bunch of drivers on pit road. Andy Cork, the control car, stays out on about 15 lap old tires in that 41 Toyota Tundra. Up on the outside, elects to take the outside for this restart here. We'll see how those tires hang out for the 41. We got Cody Gibson on the inside in second place, Brad Holmes in third, and Matt Semple in fourth as we get set to go racing for stage number 2 out here tonight. Quick look at the Scrambler Series drivers as they run right now. Cody Gibson, Matt Semple, Greg Mitchell, those are the top 3 as they run. The bottom 3, Gary Bowman, Mike Stuyvesant, and, well, we already know Andrew Caldwell eliminated from tonight's event after an issue on lap number 20. We're going to be keeping a close eye on that, but the real race begins after lap number, what's stage 2? Lap number 64 being completed. So 30 laps of racing in stage number 2 before we see the yellow flag again. But Andy Cork's going to see the loud pedal, and he's going to send us on our way down into turn number 1 with the race lead. Three-wide situation for the race leaders. Cody Gibson on the inside, Matt Semple in the middle. Andy Cork going to lose 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 spots by the time they exit turn number 2, but Matt Semple to the outside of the 1 gets a big run in turns 1 and 2, trying to make a power move and take the race lead away from Cody Gibson for the first time out here tonight. Is he able to do it at the line? It's still going to be Cody Gibson with that lap led. Matt Semple getting some help from teammate Brad Holmes directly behind him, and still working the outside here for the 16 Chevy Silverado for Semple. Cody Gibson trying desperately to clear his nose up in front of, or his tail in front of, oh my goodness, Matt Semple there. Not going to happen. That set of corners going to have to try one more time, but still side by side for the race lead here between the 16 and the 1, with a great onboard view here from Brad Holmes. Brad's going to slot down behind the 1 in the corner, try to take a little bit of a shorter way around the corner here, but pushes the 16 down the straightaway here. And we've seen Cody Gibson, we've seen Greg Mitchell, we've seen Eric Anderson do it out here tonight, protecting the position with that outside lane here, as it looks like Cody may be able to clear Matt here on the exit turn number 4. No, not just yet. Matt's able to stick with the 1 on the entry into turn number 1. We'll see what these drivers are able to do. But Matt's hanging tough up there. Texas is a difficult track to do this at because of just how wide turn number 1 can get. But Matt putting a lot of trust here in Cody Gibson, as he is still trying to defend up on the outside. May have gotten that lap led there. A little bit of contact between the 16 and the 1 on the entry into turn number 1, but they're going to keep those trucks pointed in the right direction, but that's going to allow this time by. No, it's not. Matt Semple still comes back with the momentum on corner exit here. Great battles for the race lead as we follow the closest battle out on track right now. Cody Gibson's working that white line through Texas 3 and 4. At the start-finish line, it's going to be too close to call to determine who got that lap. These drivers are going to have to get it figured out here quickly, because coming in their rearview mirror, they've got that 55 of Greg Mitchell. Brad Holmes has lost a spot to Greg Mitchell back in 4th place. Greg Mitchell now up in 3rd, and they do get it settled out here on the entrance to turn number 1. Matt Semple has taken the race lead here, but Cody Gibson still right up on that tailgate of that 16. Close and great battles happening early in stage number 2 out here. Let's back up here just a little bit. Steven Music, Rick Thompson going to battle with each other on the south end of the Speedway. Steven Music having a good run out here tonight. Currently runs 6th on track in front of the 47 and Nathan Dufton. In that Arie likes to call that the red blueberry Pop-Tart machine, or something like that. I can't remember what she likes to call it, but the blueberry Pop-Tarts in a red truck. So that's an interesting pick there for Steven, but always comes out here in a good looking truck for Steven. Mike Stiverson back here just a little bit, trying to advance his position on Paxton Frith, as he is currently still the lowest running championship eligible driver. He's got a couple of cars to go before he sees Gary Bowman. Gary Bowman currently up in 5th place, about 2 seconds between himself and driver number 8 for Mr. Bowman, but they've got Ed Jurgen kind of in this 3-wide situation right here. Paxton Frith up on the outside. Corey Sherman. We spoke to Corey and wife Amanda early in tonight's pre-race show, and said they were just going to kind of ride back, save the tires, not qualify, see what happens, avoid some of the issues. And Corey up 17 positions from his qualifying effort. The Sherman squared Amanda Sherman back in 27th. As it looks like she may be on pit road for some excessive damage for that war wagon for Mrs. Sherman. So not the night that she was looking for, but Mike Stiverson has made his way around Paxton Frith, and also has Ed Jurgen in that Jurgen's Lawn Care number 92. So our Scrambler Series starting to come a little bit closer together. At the start-finish line, it is all Matt Semple up front, but Cody Gibson now under pressure from Greg Mitchell on the inside. These two drivers, the 55 and the 1, have arguably been the 2 championship favorites all season long. So we will see. I tell you what, if they both make Charlotte here in 2 weeks, we've got Michigan next week, and then we've got Charlotte in 2 weeks. If they both make Charlotte, it's going to be an absolute slobber knocker between these two drivers, as these two drivers have accounted for over half the wins of the Tuesday Night Thunder Championship Truck Series between the 55 and the 1. But Matt Semple has been coming on strong here lately. Recently got his 2nd win of the season a couple of weeks ago. At I want to say it was Kentucky that he got his 2nd win, and has been showing up in the Scrambler Series week in and week out without issue. And that is what will get you to the championship event here in just 2 weeks' time on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. On board with Matt Semple here, as he takes a look back to 2nd place and 3rd place, Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell. Brad Holmes, his teammate, a couple of cars directly behind him, and you also got Gary Bowman rounding out the top 5 as they run right now. Cody Gibson's able to clear. Issue 4, Corey Sherman, Steven Music, Eric Anderson, Paxton Frith, and Chris Rose. What happens? All right, so let's take a look. Yellow flag out on track right now. I see Eric Anderson's involved, so we're gonna key up. Where are we gonna key up? We're gonna key up Mr. Anderson here. And try to get a good look as to maybe what happens here. So on the exit of 4, Corey Sherman, Steven Music. Oh, it's going to be 3 in the 09. The 43 goes for a wild ride. Looks like this starts between the 3 and the 09. All right, let's. All right. Oh, that's the wrong button. All right, so Corey Sherman on the exit of turn number 4 here. He's just going to get into the right rear quarter panel of the 09 of Steven Music, and that is going to send him around. But the 43 of Eric Anderson goes for an absolutely wild ride on the exit of turn number 4 for Eric there. Let's try to grab an onboard here with Mr. Anderson and see what he sees on the exit of the corner here. They got Paxton Frith directly in between. Let's see if Paxton gets any sort of contact on the exit of 4. Paxton's going to get through it, but Eric is most certainly not going to get through it, as he's going to have some serious damage to that 43, especially on the right side there of that Ford F-150 for Eric Anderson. About half the field is on pit road right now. Looks like it's about 14th place on down. From 14th down to, I guess we'll call it about 26th on pit road. So that means the top 13 have stayed out here with just a handful of laps to go in stage number 2, as drivers are currently working. Looks like they're currently working lap number 53. Stage 2 going to be coming to a close at the end of lap number 64, so going to be under 10 laps of racing to go by the time we see the green flag once again. This could be setting up Larry Bell, Rick Thompson, these drivers back here from 14th place on down. Could be setting themselves up to potentially take no tires, maybe just a splash and go on the stage 2 caution. But we saw how that worked out for the 41 of Andy Cork. Andy Cork is actually on pit road here. Does he have any damage? Yeah, he's going to have some damage here. Let's take another look, see if we can't see any sort of damage here from Andy. So this is the most recent yellow flag. Unsure if he's involved in this or not, at least at this moment. That damage might have been there prior. Oh no, he's going to get some contact there. I wonder if that came from... Where is Fred? Let's go on board here with Fred Thompson and see if maybe this is where the damage came from under this yellow flag. Hard to tell with a couple of drivers jumping out right there from view. So we will just have to... Well, we'll just have to try to figure out where that came from at another time. But Andy Cork back there, he was one of the drivers. That's where this whole thing started. He was one of the drivers who did not pit 4 tires at the stage 1 yellow flag. But up front, we got Cody Gibson and Matt Semple on the front row. Brad Holmes and Greg Mitchell in row number 2. Gary Bowman has been running in about the 5th place position out here all night. Tonight, Nathan Dufton has made his way up onto the outside of row number 3 for this restart. Barney's going to send us on our way as Matt Semple, Brad Holmes, Cody Gibson, they're all going to see the green flag for the third time out here tonight. 9 laps to go in stage number 2. Cody Gibson gets his elbows out on the entry into turn number 1 as he tries to make the pass around Brad Holmes in turn 1. He's able to do so. Now he's got his sights set on that 16 Chevy Silverado of Matt Semple directly in front of him. A little bit further back, you got Gary Bowman trying to put some heat on Nathan Dufton. And oh yeah, let's not count out that number 20 running in 7th, as now for the first time tonight, Mike Stuyvesant sees that driver that he needs to pass directly in his windshield. 2 cars in front of him, the closest he has been to a safe position out here all evening. Cody Gibson and Brad Holmes going to be racing side by side down the backstretch. Greg Mitchell takes a look down to the inside to follow the shorter radius of the track out here tonight at Texas. A little bit of a 2-wide situation on the corner exit there. Matt Semple continues to lead, but here comes Brad Holmes on the inside. Possibly took a look for the race lead. Not going to be able to make it work just yet. Rick Thompson, is Rick on new tires? Rick is on new tires here. So the 76, last pit on lap number 53. Let's keep an eye on this 76 here as he is coming in a hurry. Last time by for Rick Thompson was a 30.66, 0.3 of a second faster than the race leaders directly in front of him. A little bit of contact there with Gary Bowman, and you can just see the speed difference here as Rick's going to take a 3-wide situation through turn 1. It's wide enough for 12 wide, but they're going to stick with 3 wide by the time they exit turn number 2, as Cody Gibson's going to slot in directly behind him. Now he's got a shot at second place, and he may lead this lap by the time they come out of turn number 4. Next car on tires. You got to go all the way back down to 12th place before you find the next car who pitted with Rick Thompson here on this most recent caution, and that is going to be Brad Collins in the 67, teammate to that Speed Mafia Ford F-150. So Rick making the tires work while they're still good here. So Rick is able to take a lap here, and I would imagine he's going to get a bonus point for leading this one and likely win the stage, barring anything crazy happening before we see stage number 2 come to an end. Brad Holmes now up on the inside of Matt Semple is they're going to come down here into turn 1 onto the south end of the speedway. Greg Mitchell is going to take a look into the middle, try to find some clean air to put on the front of that Silverado. Not going to be able to make anything work just yet. Cody Gibson was really kind of the biggest loser in that situation right there, as Cody Gibson lost a couple of spots as Rick Thompson was coming through. Cody Gibson now back down to a 5th place running position, and battle for our cut line here between Gary Bowman and Mike Stuyvesant with just 3 laps to go in the stage. We already know Andrew Caldwell with an incident earlier on lap number 20 going to be eliminated. One more driver going to be eliminated, and that's going to be the lowest finishing driver out of the drivers highlighted in green on the tower, and they currently run 2nd through 7th on the board, with the exception of Brad Holmes mixed in there. In 3rd, Mike Stuyvesant still trying to make some hay on that number 8 Chevy Toyota Tundra for Gary Bowman, as he's trying to get that spot before the stage ends. He's got about 3 miles of racing to do it. But Gary is, I don't know if there's a better driver out here to save tires, as Brad Collins now going to take a look. Another driver with 4 tires going to take a 3-wide situation here on the exit of turn number 2. Mike's going to lose a spot or 2. He's got Dustin Ping up on the outside now, as Rick Thompson's going to see the white flag here. Big battles all up in the top 2, the top 3 of this, but up front it has been Rick Thompson who has stepped away by a 1.5 seconds. Matt Semple currently runs in 2nd place, and then from there it's a battle for 3rd. Mitchell on the inside, he's going to have 1 attempt at it. By the time they get back to the start-finish line, they're going to get their elbows out in the entry into turn number 3. See where they come across the start-finish line, as we expect to see the yellow flag come out this time for the conclusion of stage number 2. Stage number 2 done and away. Rick Thompson's going to pick up the stage win with some fresh tires, so now it'll be interesting to see if Rick decides to come back down on pit road here It'll also be interesting to see what the 67 does. Those two drivers last pit just about 10 laps ago, so they've got some fresh tires. Other drivers that did pit on lap number 53, you've got Chris Letts in the 65, you've got Larry Bell in the 05, Logan Spencer, Eric Anderson, Fred Thompson, a couple of other drivers as well. We wait to see what I would imagine to be most of the field down here on pit road, perhaps even if only for fuel for some of these drivers that recently pitted about 10 laps ago. So we'll keep an eye on this as we expect to see them come down here underneath the guidance of the 76 of Rick Thompson. But stage 2 winner in the books, Mr. Thompson. We've said that he's been fast over the past couple of weeks, and certainly shown up out here tonight with a stage win, perhaps one of his first stage wins of the season. Rick will have to correct me on that if that's factually incorrect, but maybe one of the first stage wins for Rick out here tonight at Texas. Drivers going to come down into their box, and we'll see what drivers elect to take. All right, the call is answered. Brad Holmes with 4 tires, Matt Semple with 4 tires, looking to find Brad Collins, Rick Thompson. Those 2 drivers took 4 tires as well. I would have thought maybe we would have seen maybe just a little bit of fuel there for the 76 and the 67, but regardless, they came down running inside the top 10 on lap number 53. So still a net gain for both the 76 and the 67. All right, so 2 stages done and away out here tonight, 67 laps down, and now we're going to have our run to our finish, approximately 80 laps before we see lap number 147, and we determine a winner out here tonight. Quick little look once again at the Scrambler Series drivers before we begin stage number 3. Top runners right now, Matt Semple, Greg Mitchell, and Cody Gibson. And then the 2 drivers on the bubble line right now, Gary Bowman and Mike Stuyvesant, back in 5th place and 8th place. You see Mike in that silver Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network truck directly behind Gary Bowman on this restart. So we are getting ready to find out how stage 3 pans out here, but up front it's a pair of teammates, Brad Holmes, Matt Semple. Brad Holmes going to see the loud pedal and send us on our way. At the start finish line, going to begin lap number 69 of 147 out here is going to slide down into turn number 1. First battle out on track right now, Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell. Cody Gibson going to win that battle. By the time they exit the south end of the speedway, you got Ed Jurgens back here just a little bit. He's taking a look maybe on the inside of the 20. Corey Sherman is trying to advance his position on the 42 of Leroy Koblenz. He's going to successfully do that. And directly behind them, you've got Paxton Frith in that 7 Ford F-150. Paxton's another driver. He joined us probably about mid-season here in that number 7, and he's been running clean races. He's been running good races out here. Hasn't always had the finishes that he deserved, but good night so far for Paxton. Could have a top 10 or maybe a little bit more by the end of the night. But up front, we got battles for the race lead. Brad Holmes, Cody Gibson, Matt Semple. As the names have been through the opening 2 stages, the top 4 drivers have a little bit of separation here. As Cody Gibson's going to take the race lead from Matt Semple in turns 1 and 2, but Greg Mitchell has been waiting in the wings the entirety of tonight's race as he has been close. Matt Semple looks like he is super loose right now. Last couple of corners we've seen him get really sideways on the entry into turn number 1. Let's take a look and see if he gets a similar situation here. This may be help from behind too, so let's not ever count that out, but a little bit more comfortable that time through turns 1 and 2 for Matt Semple. Gary Bowman trying to advance his position on Brad Holmes. Brad's going to close that door on the entry into turn number 3, and so you're going to have to try again next time around. Ed Jurgen, Mike Stuyvesant, these drivers battling for 7th place. Back here as Brad Collins has taken the net gain from that pit stop couple of laps ago, and he is currently running in the 6th place running position for the 67. Now this is big here for the 20. Mike needs to chase down that 8 if he does not want to be eliminated from the Scrambler Series out here tonight. But the issue that he's got, and as he's made his way around the 92 of Ed Jurgen, is that the 92 and the 8 are teammates. Now obviously Mike, Gary, and Ed, they've all raced around each other for a long time, and they know that none of them are going to do anything to directly affect each other, right? But if I'm Ed Jurgen, I'm racing that 20 just a little bit harder to help protect my teammate of Gary Bowman. So Mike's able to make his way around the 92 of Gary, and now he's got just 2 cars. Brad Collins before he sees the 8 of Gary Bowman here in a couple of laps, possibly. Last time by, he was actually a little bit faster than the 8 machine of Bowman, as Bowman's now under pressure here from Brad Collins. This could spell trouble here for Gary if Gary gets caught up in a situation where he has to race around the 67 for more than a lap or 2. This could allow the 20 to get up there and start to close this distance. Brad's going to slot back into a single file formation by the time we get down into turn number 1. That's going to give Gary a little bit of breathing room here, but Gary's going to push up on the exit of turn number 2, and Brad once again going to take the momentum, look down to the inside here, and now Stuyvesant is here. This is the battle for the bubble position in the playoffs. As they run right now, the lower of the 2 finishing championship eligible drivers would be eliminated. Andrew Caldwell eliminated after an early race incident out here tonight about 50 laps ago in our first caution of the evening. A little bit behind them, Leroy Koblenz has made his way around the 3 of Corey Sherman. Leroy started 9th out here tonight. Good qualifying effort for the driver out of Graybeard Motorsports in that Ford F-150. Through the first, well, I guess we'll call it about half of the race here. Good opening run for the 42 of Leroy, having a strong run out here tonight. Leroy missed a couple of weeks, was moving. Glad to see him back out here once again on the Tuesday night series that he participates in. Finished second in the opening race at Daytona earlier this season. Trying still to get his first win of the season. He's got some work to do if that win is going to come out here tonight. That gap between Gary Bowman and Mike Stiverson has not closed at all. In fact, if anything, it is extended just a little bit, as now Gary Bowman has driven away a little bit from the 67 of Brad Holmes directly behind him, and now the 20 of Stiverson's going to have him to work with in between as a buffer car before he has an opportunity to pass the number 8 out here tonight. Drivers can go about 34 laps on fuel. That's kind of on the upper end of things. So last came down on pit road for the majority of the field on or around lap number 66. So that's going to bring us right around to lap number 100, unless they decide to. I mean, it's going to be a 2-stop regardless. Unless they decide to maybe split this here and come down kind of in the middle of this run. Because even if they come at lap 100, that's still 47 laps. That's 17, about 12, 15 more laps than they can actually run on fuel. So may not be surprised here to see green flag pit stops here shortly, maybe in the next 5 or 6 laps, to kind of split this in half and bring us to a proper fuel window to finish out stage number 3. Up front, Matt Semple takes a look to the inside for the race lead of Cody Gibson, going to be able to come off the corner side by side with him. We're going to be nose to nose by the time we get down into 3. Greg Mitchell waiting in the wings. He's got some help from Brad Holmes behind, and Gary Bowman. We say never count out Gary Bowman. He is slowly closing on some Goodyear tires directly behind him, as now that separation between him and the 20 for that cut line of the Scrambler Series continues to extend itself. But Matt Semple is able to make his way around Cody Gibson here. That is maybe a little bit surprising here. I didn't expect Cody to lose that spot as quickly as he did. I expected maybe a little bit more of a battle for the race lead right there. Wonder if Cody's doing anything here. Let's take a look. Well, first we're going to take a look at Cody's Christmas paint scheme in almost February, and then we're going to take a look and see if we hear him maybe getting out of the throttle or doing anything crazy here to try to save some tires or try to save some fuel. Let's go on board here with the 1. Definitely no fuel saving there in turns 3, as I don't even think he lifted the entirety of the corner down there, but down here in 1. He's going to lift just a little bit there, but probably just what you have to in order to make the corner. So really, I don't think there's any sort of fuel saving there for Cody Gibson in that 1 machine, at least just yet. But still a little bit surprising that we're starting to see him go back, as now he's lost second place to Greg Mitchell here, and he's going to have Brad Holmes to his inside. Gary Bowman is directly behind him as well now, so Cody Gibson maybe a little bit of vulnerability out of that 1 Chevy Silverado. For the first time out here tonight, driver with the most laps led in tonight's race, as he's going to still stay in 3rd place, but for how much longer? If history repeats itself, Brad Holmes will be able to make this pass on the exit at corner number 4. Doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet. They're going to come across the start-finish line side by side by the time they get there, but Cody Gibson still at a disadvantage up on that outside lane, as Brad is almost clear of him, and he is going to try to clear on the exit of corner number 2. Not able to do so just yet. Cody Gibson still got that momentum. This has now opened up the door for Greg Mitchell to put some pressure on Matt Semple for the race lead for the first time out here tonight. Greg started 12th out here tonight. Has slowly and methodically worked his way forward, and now has the opportunity to challenge for the race lead for the first time in tonight's race. Corey Sherman has an issue. Let's take a quick look at Corey. On board here with the 3 machine. Is he just going to get up on the outside lane? He is, and then he's going to go for a little bit of a ride, and he's going to stay up on the track. Good job to Corey. Nice job there. 10 out of 10 for Corey. Back up front, we still got Matt Semple up front, Greg Mitchell in second, Cody Gibson runs in third, but Brad Holmes now side by side with Gary Bowman here. A little bit of separation between the 1 and the 8. I tell you what, though, if I'm Mike Stuyvesant right now, I'm starting to think about fuel strategy here, because you can see Gary Bowman just off in the distance up here, and that's the driver that he needs to pass. He hasn't been able to get up there at least through the first 90 laps of tonight's race on speed. He's got an opportunity to do just that, with possibly a short pit if he elects to come down maybe a lap before Gary Bowman, but we'll see when these drivers elect to come down on pit road as he tries to make his way around Brad Collins up on the outside. Is he going to be able to do so? Yes, he is. Put Mike Stuyvesant into a 6th place running position. 5 of our 6 championship eligible drivers running inside the top 6. Again, just with Brad Holmes mixed in the middle there in 4th place. Great run for Brad. Brad was eliminated last week at Pocono Raceway, so no stranger to the Scrambler Series, no stranger to success here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League is that 0-0 of Brad Holmes. Brad's another one of the drivers looking for his first career win in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Maybe a little surprising that it hasn't happened just yet. Brad's been racing here for maybe about 8 months or so, give or take. Brad joined us at the end of last season and had some strong runs at the end of last season, and still looking for his first win here on a Tuesday night in the Tuesday Night Thunder Championship Truck Series. Up front, it is still Matt Semple. Greg Mitchell trails, followed by Cody Gibson, has found his way back into a 3rd place running position after maybe a couple of spots lost for the 1. And again, our cut position between 5th and 6th place now, Gary Bowman and Mike Stuyvesant. We'll come back to this battle here pretty quickly. Want to jump back here just a little bit, take a look at Jared Kiemele in the 33, currently runs in 12th place. Rick Thompson, winner of stage number 2, runs back in 11th place. He took 4 tires on this most recent caution on that stage 2 yellow flag, and currently runs in 11th, just outside the top 10. Leroy Koblenz running directly in front of them on the back half of the top 10. Corey Sherman, one of our biggest movers out here tonight for the 3 Toyota Tundra of Mr. Sherman. Brad Holmes, no, maybe he might have just blinked there. I thought maybe there was an issue for Brad. But going back to Corey, one of the biggest movers out here in tonight's race. Closer battles happening out on track right now. Rick Thompson being chased down by the 33, Jared, driver out of North Dakota, trying to make the most of the time that he has to race here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Can only race a couple of months out of the year when he's not farming, and it's always a good time when we get Jared out on track with us, and he is currently running 12th out here tonight, having a good run. Dustin Ping going to enter pit road from about 22nd running position. Who else is coming down pit road? Nobody just yet. We're going to keep a close eye on the drivers coming down pit road here, as we expect to start to see them come down. I expect only maybe about 8 more laps of fuel at the absolute max before they got to come down and put some gas in it. But we will see. The track's starting to look a little bit dusky here as the clouds roll into Texas Motor Speedway, as Greg Mitchell still chasing down Matt Semple and down the backstretch here, working lap number 97. Matt Semple's the kind of driver that when he gets out front, the field better watch out. Matt may sometimes have an issue coming through the field, but when he gets up to the front, he is certainly one to watch and one you need to be worried about when it comes to trying to retake that lead. But Greg Mitchell about a quarter of a second behind him right now, still chasing down that Alto Construction Chevy Silverado, currently leading the race out here tonight. Laps led for Matt Semple. Let's take a look. He's currently got 35 laps led through the opening 98, as we'll see 99 here this time. Corey Sherman pits in from about the 12th place running position, as does Paxton Frith. Couple of drivers on the back half of the top 10, top 15 making their way onto pit road, so that means pit stops are coming soon here for the race leaders. When will it be, and who will be the first one to pull the trigger? The top 5, top 6 gonna stay out this time. Ed Jurgens, all right, so 7th place comes down onto pit road this time. Ed's gonna lose some spots as the field comes around him, so 7th place down here onto pit road, as is Jarek Kiemele. Let's not count out that number 8. That number 8, Gary Bowman, teammates with those two. Gotta wonder if he's gonna come down pit road this time, as he's in a position here that he possibly could. He doesn't have anybody directly behind him. Runs high a little bit in turn 3. Makes me think he's gonna stay out at least one more lap. Greg Mitchell comes down onto pit road. All right, so now we've got the calls answered. Greg Mitchell on pit road, Gary Bowman on pit road, Mike Stiverson on pit road. This is a very vulnerable moment for these Scrambler Series drivers. If this race runs long and if Matt Semple, Cody Gibson stay out here for another couple of laps here, put them a lap down, and then we get an untimely yellow flag, that would be worst case scenario for some of these drivers. We're going to follow along here with Gary Bowman, Greg Mitchell, and Mike Stiverson on the exit of pit road here. See who wins the race off pit road. Greg, Gary, and Mike. That is how they entered. Mike is down and away from his pit box. Gary Bowman going to lose a spot there to Greg Mitchell. All right, so Matt Semple still stays out on track right here. This is a risky strategy here for Matt Semple. All right, he's going to come down pit road this time for the 16. Brad Holmes going to stay out an additional lap. Looks like maybe Logan Spencer. He's got a ways to go before he gets down to pit road. Cody Gibson on and off pit road. Service complete for that one truck. Brad Collins as well inside the top 5, as Greg Mitchell, Gary Bowman, Ed Jurgen going to take the spot away for these drivers. Let's jump back around here to who's going to be our effective race leader. Looks like, all right, so Matt Semple currently on pit road. Greg Mitchell is going to be the effective race leader by the time this cycle's around. There's going to be a 3-lap difference, though, on tires. That's pretty big between the 16 and the 55. But even more so, you're going to have Matt Semple lose a position here to Mike Stiverson, as Mike is able to make his way around Matt down there on the apron. He's going to have 2 laps. Issues for Logan Spencer speeding on pit road. Brad Holmes brings that 0-0 down onto pit road. So even more so, though, Mike is going to be 2 laps short on tires versus the 16. And you could see the 16 a little bit way back in the distance right there. You see the famous Jeff Gordon car. That's Frank DiMaggio running directly behind him. Frank a lap or more down in tonight's running order, but that car directly behind Frank right back there, that is Matt Semple. We're going to try to keep an eye on the lap times here between the 16 and the 20. This time by for Mike Stiverson, he is a 30.64. Matt Semple a 30.84. Maybe putting some heat in those Goodyears still that lap, but we will see 2 lap better tires for Matt Semple that time by. But up front, Greg Mitchell has assumed the race lead through that round of green flag pit stops out here. We do know that we need at least one more pit stop here to make it to the end. Drivers can go about 34, 36 laps. So that's going to bring us right around, I guess, maybe around lap 112. That's the window of when things would start to open. But I would imagine we'll see drivers come down maybe around 120, maybe 125. This final round of green flag pit stops could ultimately determine who makes the Scrambler Series Final Four and who misses it. That's a look at it right now. Andrew Caldwell eliminated from contention in an earlier incident out here tonight. Mike Stiverson is... let's go there. Last time by, Mike Stiverson a little bit faster here over these last couple of laps here for Stiverson than Matt Semple. That's a little surprising here, unless Matt is saving his tires here. Though if we're only going to run 20 laps or so on fuel before we split the final run, I don't know that saving the tires here is really good. But Matt Semple losing time to Mike Stiverson, now just under 2 seconds here for the cut position. Well, we'll see how it works out. They know what the strategy is down there. We're just hanging out here on a Tuesday night here in the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Next week, we're going to be at Michigan. We're going to have our redemption round. That's got some fun rules around it, which we'll explain next week. But next time you see us here on a Tuesday night, we will have 2 races to go in our season before we crown a champion in 2 weeks' time on February 10th at Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. All right, so we've been following Matt Semple around here for the last couple of laps. He has been a little bit slower than Mike Stiverson these past couple of laps. Matt Semple has to chase down the 20 or he faces elimination at the end of tonight's race. But is Matt saving something for a closing run out here tonight? Up front, it is about a 7/10 of a second lead for Greg Mitchell to second place Cody Gibson. Gary Bowman currently runs in third. Gary takes himself out of the danger zone through that round of green flag pit stops and slots himself into a third place running position. Good run out here tonight for Mr. Bowman, and good run for all of our championship eligible drivers. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow for whichever driver gets eliminated out here tonight. Looking at 5 of the top 6 drivers being Scrambler Series drivers. When you run so good all season long, one race, one corner, one lap can define your championship hopes out here. And we've kind of coined the phrase here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network that the Scrambler Series does not care about your feelings. And we'll see whose feelings it hurts out here tonight. Take a look at Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson. Lap times between these two drivers last time by. Cody Gibson was, last couple of times by, Cody Gibson has been substantially faster than the driver in front of him, of Greg Mitchell. Last time by was just under a quarter of a second faster than that 55 directly in front of him. Does have 1 lap better tires for Cody Gibson in the 1, and he is going to get to the rear bumper here of Greg Mitchell. This is going to open up an opportunity here if Greg can't, or if Cody can't get around Greg here very fast. It's going to open up the opportunity for Gary Bowman to put his name in the hat as potential race winners out here tonight. Scrambler Series update. Mike Stuyvesant still runs in 5th. Matt Semple still runs in 6th. Last time by, Stuyvesant was about a 10th slower than Semple, so maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the speed back there for the cut position. Is it too much, though? He's got about a second and a half to close before he gets back to the rear bumper of that number 20 machine. But up front, we got a battle starting to ignite for the race lead. Cody Gibson has closed in on the rear bumper of Greg Mitchell at the start-finish line to begin lap number 116. 115 in the books. Greg Mitchell going to lead another lap here. But for how long Cody Gibson has been coming in a hurry, as Cody Gibson may catch Eric Anderson here in a bad spot on the exit turn number 2. He's going to be okay by the time all is said and done. They exit turn 2. Single file, and Cody Gibson continues the chase. Last time by, I tell you what, Gary Bowman has been the fastest of the 3 leaders. I've been keeping an eye on the last lap times for the leaders here. And Gary Bowman has actually been the faster of the 2 drivers in front of him. Could tonight be the night for Gary to break into victory lane for the first time out here tonight? So now Mike Stuyvesant has made his way around Ed Jurgen. So Ed Jurgen's going to fall back to 5th place here. What this does, though, is this puts a buffer car in between him and Matt Semple for the cut position here. And I like this if I'm the 20, and I hate this if I'm the 16. Because now not only does Matt Semple need to make his way around the 92, he's going to have to make his way around the 20 in order to avoid elimination out here tonight. Ed Jurgen, I don't think, is going to go anywhere just yet. Ed Jurgen's going to stick right with the rear bumper of Mike Stuyvesant, as he's going to lose a little bit of time on the exit of turn number 2 there. Matt Semple's going to maybe take a look down to the inside. He knows it's go time. We are within the fuel window here. This has given Matt Semple an opportunity to undercut Stuyvesant to potentially come down and try to gain some track position here in what may be a season-defining pit stop here between these 2 championship-eligible drivers. Matt Semple to the back of the numbers 20 on the exit of turn number 2. Semple with a good run tries to get a look on the inside. Going to have to wait one more set of corners. What does Ed Jurgen do by the time they get down to turn number 3? He's going to hold the phone and hold his spot back in 6th place. But the battle for the advancement here in the Scrambler Series, a battle for 4th place here. Mike Stuyvesant on the outside, Matt Semple on the inside. Semple's going to take a look down onto the inside. He's going to send it down onto the inside, but Stuyvesant may get a good run on the exit of the corner here. Not going to happen that corner. 2 lap better tires for the 16, and we thought maybe he was saving a little bit of tires on the immediate end of the pit stop there. And perhaps that is what is happening, is now he has gotten around Mike by about 2 truck lengths here. Within the fuel window, though, that's the question. That's the question that everybody needs the answer to. What does the 20 do here? Does he come down onto pit road now that he's losing a little bit of time to the 16? Does he force the 16's hand on board with the 20? Going to stay out at least 1 additional lap out here, as we see just 25 laps to go out here tonight. Greg Mitchell up front. Cody Gibson currently runs in 2nd. Gary Bowman, Matt Semple, and Mike Stuyvesant. You wanted 5 championship eligible drivers running inside the top 5. We got it out here tonight. Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson, Gary Bowman, Matt Semple, and Stuyvesant as they run right now. There is no room for mistakes here late in the Scrambler. Greg Mitchell has opened up the race lead just a little bit over Cody Gibson, maybe even just by a tenth of a second or so, as now it's about a quarter of a second to 3/10 of a second on corner exit here. Cody Gibson's going to have to deal with Gary Bowman here before too long, I do fear, and it may even be this corner here. Gary Bowman slowly closing in here, still faster than both the one in front of him and the 55, the race leader, but Gary Bowman takes a look down to the inside, and he is going to pick up a second place running position, put second place for Gary. Again, still looking for his first win of the season. This would be a big one and set the momentum off in the right direction for that Toyota Tundra of Gary, if he can make it happen out here tonight. But we do know, as we've said before, we do know that there is one more green flag pit stop out here. Cody Gibson, race leader on pit road. All right, Ed Jurgen comes in on pit road. Greg Mitchell's going to stay out. Gary Bowman's going to stay out. Matt Semple's going to stay out. Mike Stiverson stays out. All right, so that's the opening round of them. We'll see how these drivers react here if Greg Mitchell comes down onto pit road this time. Cannot afford a speeding penalty or an unsafe pit exit or a pit entry this late in the season. This pit stop could define your championship eligibility. The remaining Scrambler Series drivers all come down on pit road. Mitchell through Stiverson, including Bowman and Semple. Last time by, we saw Cody Gibson come down onto pit road, so we expect Cody Gibson here to take the race lead. Where is Cody on track? Cody is on the entry into turn number 3. Let's see if we can't. The track map right here showing that Greg Mitchell is already rolling off of pit road, but Cody Gibson is on his way. He is en route to what may be the race lead right here. Cody Gibson makes his way around Gary Bowman, and on the exit of turn number 2, he is going to barely win the race off of pit road here. So this is not really a huge lead here for Cody Gibson. I don't really like that too much. With a lap better tires here, Greg Mitchell is certainly within striking distance of these drivers. Brad Holmes assumes the race lead through this round of green flag pit stops out here. Eric Anderson in 4th as they run right now. But these drivers all trying to set the scene. The song has been written. They're trying to set the song, I don't know, for the closing laps of our 3 races to go here on a Tuesday night. Cody Gibson in front of the 55. Now let's take a look. So Matt Semple came down on pit road, same lap that Mike Stiverson did here. The difference between, we'll see if that works. That does not work. Okay. The difference between Mike Stiverson and Matt Semple, looks like Mike is going to be just about a second behind Matt Semple here. So last time we saw Matt Semple playing the long game on the tires. We'll see if the same thing happens here, but perhaps in a reversed roll. Stiverson's going to have some lap traffic in between him and the driver that he needs to pass of Matt Semple directly in front of him. I tell you what, though, Matt Semple is starting to close up on... Where is Gary? Okay, so, all right, so Matt's not super close to Gary, at least just here just yet. Matt's going to have a 2-car buffer in between him and the driver that he needs to chase down. Mike Stiverson is within a second of Matt Semple running directly behind him. Now within a second as we enter into turn number 3, we're going to see 16 laps to go. Up front, Cody Gibson still leads over Greg Mitchell. Brad Holmes still yet to pit here, last pit on lap number 104, so we expect to see him come down pretty shortly in that 0-0, but if we get an untimely caution right now, this could play into Brad Holmes' hands. But Mike Stiverson is closing on the back of the 16. This is the battle for the cut position for the championship eligible drivers in the Scrambler Series, now within 9/10 of a second. We're going to follow that battle closely along here as we're going to jump back over here to the race lead. A lot of battles to watch out here tonight in the Texas Shindig 220. Greg Mitchell's going to take a look down into the inside and try to take the race lead away from Cody Gibson. 1 lap better tires for Greg Mitchell in the 55 on the inside. How long will they be good for, though? That is the question. How much wheel does he need to put into that 55 in order to try to make it work out here? Not able to make the pass on the exit of corner number 4. They're going to race down into turn number 1, side by side once again for the race lead. Third place now belongs to Gary Bowman. Gary is about 1.5 seconds behind these drivers, and he's going to need some help. But if they stay side by side like this, he might just get the help that he needs to become a factor for the race win out here tonight. This time by going to be 13 laps to go. .13 laps to go, and these drivers for the race lead, Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson, still racing side by side down the backstretch here. Gibson gets a big momentum run down the backstretch on the outside. Mitchell takes the shorter route around the track. One of these times, one of these drivers is going to try to clear each other, and Greg Mitchell almost clear on the exit of corner number 4. Going to have to wait one more set of corners at the line, give that lap lead to the 55 of Greg Mitchell, but the outside momentum quickly carries the 1 back into the race lead. But this time now down into turn number 1, Greg Mitchell clear on the exit of turn number 2. What does Cody Gibson do on turn number 3? Greg Mitchell trying to break the draft as much as he possibly can down this short backstretch. And Greg Mitchell has now opened up about 1/4 second lead between him and Cody Gibson. Jumping back over here real quick to the battle for the cut position, Mike Stiverson and Matt Semple. That gap has opened up now just a little bit. Was 0.9 seconds at one moment. Now it sits at about 1.5 seconds advantage to Matt Semple here in the closing laps of tonight's race. This time by going to have just 10 laps to go. 15 miles of racing from Texas Motor Speedway, and a late race caution would, I don't want to bring that into the air, but that would absolutely change everything. The top 5 drivers as they run right now, all championship eligible drivers, no room for mistakes in the Scrambler Series. Andrew Caldwell runs in 29th, while on pit road in 29th after having terminal damage earlier in tonight's race due to a hardware failure that the old Logitech Momo came disconnected at the worst possible time for Andrew Caldwell, and going to be eliminated from championship contention out here tonight in that 46. Such a tough break for Caldwell. Well, we got a little bit of breathing room here for the battle for the race lead. We're going to take a look back here at a battle for about the 10th place position. Corey Sherman currently defending over 11th place. Jared Kiemele got Andy Cork a lap down directly behind these drivers. Jarrett having a good run out here tonight, currently having a quiet night so far. Brad Holmes makes his way onto pit road as expected. Issues for Brad Holmes, maybe a speeding penalty here, as Brad has a black flag on the entry to pit road, so that is not what that 0-0 wanted to see. In the closing laps, that will certainly hurt his pit stop time. We expect to see probably a 40-second hold. That's typically the standard penalty that iRacing delivers for a speeding on pit road violation. But up front it is Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson, and Gary Bowman, currently the top 3. The top 5 is rounded out by your Scrambler Series drivers Matt Semple and Mike Stiverson. Stiverson continuing to lose time here to the driver in front of him, the driver that he needs to pass to advance into Michigan International Speedway next week here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. 6 laps to go from Texas. Gibson started to come back here a little bit. Cody Gibson last time by was marginally faster, but faster nonetheless. Last time by was just 3/100ths of a second faster than Greg Mitchell. So I think Cody Gibson's main issue here is going to be the dirty air that he's going to have to work around if he wants to get around the 55 to get win number 8 on the season. But he has been faster here than the 55 directly in front of him, which is a little surprising considering that Cody pit a lap before Greg, but he is right there with him for second place on board with the Cheetos machine out of Five Kings Motorsports. Cody's going to push up a little bit there on the exit of turn number 2, not the corner that Cody wanted to see. Greg continuing to try to break that draft as much as he possibly can here. Three laps to go this time by. Greg Mitchell leads Cody Gibson with a little bit of a run, but not going to be enough by the time they get down into turn number 1. Cody Gibson still chases down his championship rival into turn number 1. Greg Mitchell continues to lead tonight's race, but Matt Semple has slowly closed in on the back of this number 8 Gary Bowman truck. We'll see what he is able to do. Now, this is a difficult situation to be in here because just a couple of laps to go out here, they probably got room to race before Mike Stiverson would become an issue. But you don't want to put yourself in a position to have that 20 come to you here. Looks like Semple is either having an issue with the handling of that truck, or he got super tight there in turns 3 and 4 last time by. Perhaps maybe just a little bit of help from Dustin Ping right there, but white flag is out. Got a mile and a half of racing to go. At the front of the field, Greg Mitchell still in the race lead by about 4 car lengths over Cody Gibson. Currently runs in second. Greg Mitchell half a lap to go to pick up win number 6 on the season tonight in the Texas Shindig, and it looks like he's going to be doing a Texas two-step, a hometown win for Greg Mitchell out here tonight, able to hold off a hard-charging Cody Gibson at the end of tonight's race. Matt Semple not going to be able to get around Gary Bowman for a podium finish out here tonight, and the driver that we bid adieu to in the championship run out here tonight going to be Mike Stiverson in that number 20 and Andrew Caldwell in the 46 after 147 laps of racing. 2 drivers eliminated, and now we know our championship 4: Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson, Gary Bowman, and Matt Semple. We're going to step away here for just a minute or two, and we're going to grab your top 3 finishers out here tonight. But Greg Mitchell, the big winner in Texas, doing a smoke show here on the front stretch. All right, let's grab our third place finisher out here tonight, Mr. Bowman, Gary Bowman. How you doing? Tom up here.
All right, how you doing, Tom? It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've spoken for the right reasons, and tonight you come home third out here in Texas. I tell you what, Gary, you started on the front row, but I think outside of the 1 and the 55, I think you were probably the most consistent in terms of being up there in contention out there tonight, and you come home with the third place finish, and you advance to Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I think I need to work a little bit on my pit entry. I think everybody's beating me there.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because in the pre-race that we did with you said pits were going to be an issue out here tonight, and that's where maybe you thought some vulnerability for you could be exposed out here tonight, but wasn't the case out here tonight. You're good enough for third. So now we set our sights on Michigan. Michigan's got a couple of fun rules around it, but essentially a championship 4 driver by the time we get to Charlotte in 2 weeks. How do you feel about your chances at moving through Michigan and then finally at Charlotte?
I feel pretty good. I like Michigan and Charlotte. So, yeah, I just got to make sure I'm not in a spot to get knocked out if one of those other guys wins at Michigan. But, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, though.
Yeah, not that pesky 92 or anything down there, right? So.
Yeah, really. Or 43.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Eric take the pole out here tonight, so anything is possible. But Gary, you come out here tonight with some momentum on your side as the season begins to wind down here on the Tuesday night side of things. We're going to open up the floor for anybody you want to say hello to back home in Virginia. The floor is all yours, my friend.
Thanks. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my lovely wife and of course, Eric for sponsoring the Shindig in Texas, and y'all for doing a great job up in the booth, and I look forward to hopefully talking to you next week.
All right, appreciate the kind words, Gary. I will send you back down with Jared, Frank, and Ed, and congratulations once again on a third place.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, gonna try to grab a second place driver out of Colorado this time. Cody Gibson, Tom up here. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm happy with a second. I'm under the weather, like, horribly.
Yeah, it sounds it. Well, I was a little surprised there in stage number 3 when you pit a lap before Greg. Greg jumped you on the, or am I thinking of this backwards? Yeah, you pit a lap before Greg on the final pit stop there. Greg jumped you there towards the end of the race, but I was surprised that you were able to come pretty close to him at the end there and maybe make a charge there with about 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, I attempted it. It was just like whoever was in front of you could justify how you came off the corner with the air, and that's what I was telling Greg, and he pretty much said, well, like, it's payback because I did it to him. So yeah, this track in particular, because turn 1 you can come off real low and still have speed. I just couldn't figure it out on the longer run to get speed off 2, but 3 and 4 I had figured out. I'd catch him, then I'd lose in 1 and 2, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad with a second, especially the way I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard to hang your head over a second place finish out here. So now, I just said to Gary, I said, so now you advance to Michigan next week and then Charlotte. You and Greg kind of been going toe-to-toe the entire season out here. You would get a win, he would get a win. I think recently, recently you took kind of the advantage over the past couple of weeks, but now Greg Mitchell puts his name back in the hat here over the next couple of weeks. How you feel about your chances at your first championship in Cyber Thunder?
I mean, I feel pretty confident. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, he could have the best race of his life, or I could have the best race, or either of the 2 or the 3 if somebody wins next week that's qualified to be able to win their way in. So I don't know, it's going to be a shootout, and hopefully everybody that's in the championship they survive to the last lap. That'd be awesome.
All right, Cody, I've got one more hard-hitting question out here for you before I let you go on your way. It is almost February, my friend. When are you going to switch out of that Christmas paint scheme?
I'm just gonna let it ride because obviously it's good luck.
All right, well there you go. So that is that's the answer. We were poking fun at it on the broadcast earlier tonight, but Cody Gibson comes home good enough for second out here tonight. Cody, gonna open up the floor for you. Anybody want to say hello to? The floor is all yours, sir.
Well, I guess you up in the booth. I see you flying solo. Pretty sure Arie would want to be up there with you. I don't know what that's about, but all my teammates, they're 5 Kings. Then the sponsor of the race. Thank you.
All right, Cody, congratulations on a second place finish out here tonight. Almost got another win, but it's going to have to wait just one more week. And we're going to grab biggest mover or biggest winner of tonight's race. That is Mr. Mitchell himself, Greg. Tom up here in the booth. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Tom.
Hey, Greg, you come out of here tonight and, well, I don't know if there's a better race to win, maybe other than next week, and get the momentum on your side going into the final 2 races of the season. Talk us through those closing laps there. Cody started to come even on those older tires.
Yeah, it's tough to shake the cars behind you with the draft. So I guess going into that last pit stop, I was debating. I didn't know if I wanted to come in before those guys or after those guys. I know that once you get behind them, it was really, really, really hard to pass. You had to just run a different line to even not lose the nose. So I was trying so hard. I shipped it into the pits, and I was sawing the wheel coming out of the pits, trying to beat Cody off because I did not want to try to race him for the finish. I wanted to come out in front of him, but he must have nailed his stop too because I don't know if I could have gone much faster. He still beat me out front, but it was a really good race with Cody there at the end.
Yeah, you were able to win the race off of pit road at stage number 3. We didn't really see your name a whole lot in stage 1 or 2. Tonight you started 11th on the board. Any concerns about qualifying for Michigan or Charlotte in 2 weeks, considering that you started the lowest of the championship drivers out here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I practice more of my long runs. I probably need to do a little more hot lapping. I say that every week, but I always want good tire wear. So I don't like qualifying 11th, especially here because it's really tight racing and you can get into some caution fest at this track. So I wasn't too excited about that. So I was just trying to be really careful and pick my way to the front slowly. I actually wanted to get up there a little quicker than I did because I didn't like being back in the mess. But yeah, I do need to qualify a little bit better. I mean, this shoot, I was like 0.05 off of 5th, I think, today. So it was really tight. I just need to pick up a couple more. Another 10th or something would be nice, I guess.
All right, well, a hometown win for you. Not sure how close this track is. Texas is like 20 times the size of my state, so
yeah,
not sure how close this is, but a hometown win for you tonight at Texas, the driver out of Austin. Greg, we're gonna open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to say hello to? The floor is all yours.
Thanks to you, Tom. I know you're flying solo today, so thanks for calling the shots for us. Shout out to my dad who's watching, and a big thank you to Eric who sponsored, and congrats to Cody, Gary, and Matt for making the Final 4. Really tough luck for Mike. Hard to believe he finished 5th and didn't make the finals. That's crazy, but that's a Scrambler Series for you.
Yeah, we have coined the phrase the Scrambler Series does not care about your feelings, and that is the case for the 20 and the 46 out here tonight. But Greg, congratulations on another win, and we will maybe talk to you next week at Michigan.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, rounding out our field out here tonight, drivers making their way out of the track. 147 laps down, we bid adieu to Andrew Caldwell and Mike Stuyvesant from their championship hopes out here this season. But there is one more round for redemption next week where they may win their race back into championship eligible contention. But before we get there, we have tonight's results to take a look at from the Texas Shindig 220 out here, race 21 of 23, sponsored by Eric Anderson. Greg Mitchell comes out here tonight with the win and the checkered flag over Cody Gibson, over Gary Bowman. That's the top three that we just spoke to. Matt Semple going to be good enough for fourth out here tonight. Mike Stiverson rounds out our Scrambler Series drivers with the top five out here tonight and is eliminated from Scrambler Series contention. Ed Jurgen is good enough for sixth out here tonight. Brad Collins plays some fuel strategy to get up into the top seven and put himself up in a track position spot in stage number 2. Nathan Dufton comes away with a solid top 10 out here tonight, as does Corey Sherman, one of the biggest movers of tonight, up 20 positions from his qualifying spot. Jarrett Kienle comes home in 10th, followed by Rick Thompson. Leroy Koblenz is good enough for a top 12 out here tonight, with David Gainforth, Mr. Puddin, in 13th. Paxton Frith is 14th, followed by the pole sitter and race sponsor out here tonight, Eric Anderson. Brad Holmes comes home in 16th place. Fred Thompson comes home 3 laps down out here tonight in the Speed Mafia Ford F-150. Good evening for Mr. Thompson. Lee Campbell, 18th as they cross the start-finish line after 147 laps. Logan Spencer and Andy Cork round out the top 20. Frank DiMaggio comes out here tonight and finishes 21st, with Dustin Ping directly behind him in 22nd. Out here this evening, Larry Bell finishes 23rd, with Chris Letts and Chris Rose 24th and 25th. Steven Music has a good run going early, turned bad in that incident off of turn number 4. 95 laps down, good enough for 26th for Mr. Music in that red blueberry Pop-Tart Chevy Silverado. Brian Dorsey comes home in 27th. The driver of the War Wagon, Amanda Sherman, good enough for 28th. Andrew Caldwell, the second of the 2 championship drivers that we say goodbye to in the Scrambler Series, finishes 29th out here tonight. Tanner Marr finishes 30th on the board, driver out of Six Kings Motorsports. And Jason Raymond in 31st. Brings home our field of 31 drivers out here tonight. And that'll pretty much do it here from the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Greg Mitchell, the big winner out here tonight. 2 more races in the season. Next week we will be live at Michigan. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure you click that like button, get subscribed, get notified every single time we go live on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Next week, Arie will be with me, and we will be calling the action to the championship in 2 weeks' time at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Have a good night. We will see you next week.